Welcome back, everyone, to a good another podcast on I Got Net Sports Media, and I got a good friend of mine, always on his show with the fellas. You need Lakers content. He's the man. He's the hour. Mr. Gerald Glassford.
Great to be here, my friend. Just looking forward to a great conversation.
Same here, Gerald. Same here, man. Well, we just gonna have a little brief talk, probably about 30 minutes to an hour. We just gonna talk about some of the latest sport we're going around the NBA, and then we'll wrap up the show with some good college football. But I want to start off with a topic that's probably the hottest thing to start this whole show off, and I want to start off asking about your Lakers. I know they dominate the headlines the most, and they did some interesting things this summer. I think they had a pretty good summer to me. They only did maybe one thing I thought was a little odd, but if Luke was okay with it, then that's the most important part. So I got to start out the whole thing asking you this one question, Gerald. What was your thoughts on JJ being extended? That one caught me off guard.
A little puzzling when you look at it at first, because again, a very unproven first years up and down. Obviously, it was a success during the regular season, leading them to 50 games. There's some issues during the course of the season with him being out-coached a couple times by more seasoned coaches. But again, that's expected from a rookie coach. But in the playoffs, when they got the gentleman sweep by Minnesota just absolutely manhandled them, and some just very curious decisions would allow me to go ahead and take more time to evaluate to see if JJ would be the right man for the job. But again, that's one way you would look at it. In many ways, people would think that'd be the sensible way to look at it. But with the new ownership coming in at some point in time, even though I'm sure that they gave their blessing to it, it seems like everybody is getting an extension or getting solidified in their positions before Mark Walter steps in. So it shouldn't be totally surprising to everyone out there because of the fact that absolutely JJ is going to be taken care of. We saw earlier this year, right around the time that the ownership change was announced, or the impending ownership change was announced, that Rob Pelinka got a sweet extension as well. So everybody's getting their fat paychecks, a little bit padded, a little bit better, a little bit more, a little bit more green coming their way. Just as far as in the security fashion, if the ownership decides they want to go into another direction. So in essence, people shouldn't be too surprised.
I would say I was just very caught off guard. I figured they would wait a little longer before they did that. I was thinking maybe they'll, did another season, see how that goes. But I'm assuming they like something they saw. I mean,
I guess so, apparently. And again, we had the Lakers fast break. We still got the book out on it. We don't know which way we wanted to go. I mean, it was more definitive with Darvin Ham right away. We kind of saw things that were just not going to be conducive for the team long term. And the team admitted that they just didn't mesh well with what Darvin Ham was offering. But JJ offers a pretty brash style and way of doing things as far as how he talks about his previous generations of NBA basketball and how it is now, and how he wants to run offense and how he wants the team to play defense and things like that. And again, we'll see how it works out on the court. They're expected to win 48 and a half games here in Vegas. So I'll give it a chance and give it a look and evaluate as we go on the year. But yeah, it was kind of head scratching when you look at it on the surface, why they did it. But when you realize, inside El Segundo, it's like, the old Oprah talk show deal that she did. You get an extension, and you get an extension, and you get an extension, and you get an extension. So, the bus boys are getting something lined up for not only for after, but they were told. I mean, it was told that the bus kids are solidified where they're at as far as their future is concerned as well. So yeah, everybody's getting nice padded paychecks on the end of their contracts. And I guess that again, that's all in essence for what Mark Walter may bring in later on.
And then we also have Tony Baloney. He's a very big Laker fan himself, and he said in his honest opinion, the Laker front office has been a mess to him. So that's how Tony feels about the whole front office part.
I can't say I would disagree with Tony Baloney on that one because we have been very hard on Rob Pelinka over the years. It's a very hit and miss. I know that there are some very big Rob Pelinka supporters. I know that Luka, he did not pursue Luka. Luka was presented to him as far as that option. He got the trade done, so you have to credit him for finding a deal that worked with Dallas. So okay, we'll give him that. This offseason, he didn't go all in, which I was kind of disappointed in, but he did get 3 low risk, really potentially high yield options that could work out well. So we'll wait and see. I mean, there were 3, options in DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart, and Jake LaRavia that could really help the team as far as rotation and bring a lot of good things, defense and rebounding. And a little bit of shooting in the case of LaRavia, which is great. But I was hoping for more, and I don't think that the roster is a championship winning roster as of yet, unless Luka just absolutely carries the entire team on his back, which he's done once before. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. But I wish that the Lakers would go all out every single year of Luka's prime, because if they don't, I think there's going to be a lot of regret after that period ends with Luka.
I agree. I agree, Gerald. I'm like you. I know you and Joe, y'all went back and forth on the shit. They went all in, and now I like you. I feel like they probably should have, because
it's like with the Golden State with your team. You have Curry. He's 37. He ain't getting any younger. You go all in, from the get go, and they didn't in Golden State. And they really don't think they did in LA either. So.
I feel like with LA, they had a better reason to go all in than we did, because you got a young Luka in his prime. Like, he's young, he's fresh, he's being part of the best shape he's been in several years, and I will capitalize on the opportunity. I think it's going to be his MVP season. I'm thinking this is going to be the one where he's going to put up the wild numbers and get his first MVP. But I'm not for sure why they didn't go all in, but they really hung on into that 27 and 28 after Giannis and Jokic. They're really hanging in on that possibly happening. So I mean, I guess if Walter's sign in on that part, I guess so. But I know I would have went all in myself and just throw everything out there and hey, let's go for it. Let's go for it at this point. Especially seeing what happened with Houston now. They just lost Van Vliet, so that's a big hurt on them. So
that's correct.
We'll see what happens as things plays out with that as well. And going on to another Lakers topic, we had a chance to see some of y'all new pieces play in that first preseason. I know it's preseason, so we won't put too much stock into it, but
I wouldn't, please. Yeah, I mean, that's people are panicking or hitting like the red light button, panicking, and it's really hard to evaluate when 4 of your rotation players and 2 of your superstars, your 2 superstars, are out of the lineup. So it's really hard to evaluate where your team is at.
Yeah, I told a couple Laker fans I know personally in real life that I would wait till like game 20 or so. That's before you want to hit the panic button. Wait to get a little further into the real season and have a chance to really see, or give them a month to see how they look. Because preseason kind of hard to figure out when everybody ain't playing who you will really be starting. But absolutely. I have seen it too. I've seen the panic on some people.
Oh yeah. Just stop by one of our shows. So they panic every single week, every single day, every single game. Yes, they do.
Tony just said 8 and 1 point is crazy though. LOL. I know he will get better numbers when Luka and Bron are out there though. Yeah, he's gonna play better when Luka get out there. He's gonna play a whole lot better. He's gonna get more than 1 point.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was focusing a little bit more on the defensive end, but which I don't think really looked good as an overall, as far as not just him, it's just the whole team. Just really a poor overall performance. Hopefully they were just feeling out the kinks of it all, as far as just they only had training camp just to start just a few days earlier. So I'm just hoping it's a case of where they're just feeling out everything and that they're hoping to get everything together by the start of the season. But yeah, I know that teams are starting out a little slow. But yeah, it just did not look good from pretty much anyone outside of Austin Reeves on Friday.
And Tony said the same as you, Gerald. He said it's preseason. Not worried about it at all. Which you shouldn't be. It's just preseason. I wouldn't worry about
Tony,
it.
if you were only the majority of our but be as legend would tell you, yeah, they're already in full panic mode. So
Yeah,
some of it's trolling, but it's the ones that I know that aren't, which always get me concerned. So
I was honestly surprised to see a lot of panicking that quick. I was kind of surprised with it.
It's every year. It's every year. It's every year. I'm so used to it now from our it's just it is what it is.
I see a lot of Warrior fans panicking too about the Olden State Warriors that we calling it now. The Olden State. But they is pretty old, which is I don't like
you know, between them and the ancient Clippers, you know, sailing in the port. Yeah, it'll be a nice battle of you know, who will win out for the Geritol. But there you go.
Clipper got some things to worry about right now. I don't know what's gonna happen to them. Sony said, I've been a diehard Laker fan for 22 years now. I'm not worried it's too early. I feel you.
As do I, Tony. I'm not worried yet. Again, we have to see what it looks like with LeBron and Luke in there. But LeBron, they've already said, besides the fact that he had some issues with his glute, that they're just going to take it slow with him. It's his age 41 season. He's been around, done this training camp thing forever. He's going to be eased, according to what the reports are, into you know, this, and you won't see much of him this preseason, and I think that you'll just see him eased into it before the start of the season. And once the start of the season is there, he'll, you know, 30 to 35 minutes, he'll be I'm pretty sure at this point in time he'll be good to go.
Well, that actually brings up the next thing I was going to ask you about too, Gerald, was with the LeBron news showing that he's going to have to go slower than when he like to ramp up. And I wanted to ask you, is there any concerns about LeBron from the last injury that he had, seeing that it's still bothering him at this point right now?
Well, it's not the knee. I think the knee was the issue during the playoffs, right? Yeah, the knee was the issue during the playoffs, and now it's the glute. So maybe it's just an issue of just maybe not warming up properly, or just some of the things starting to break down. I am concerned whether or not we're going to get 65 games out of him. That's what I'm hoping for. If we can get 65 games, which is the cutoff for when you can be evaluated for All-Star, All-Team, All-NBA team, MVP, et cetera, et cetera. If we can get 65 games from him and 75 games from Luka, I think I would be ecstatic over that. And again, it's all about what. It's just the same thing with the Olden State Warriors and the ancient Clippers sailing in the port. These guys, all these old guys that you have to keep afloat, and how will they be heading into the playoffs? Because you saw the Lakers, they just absolutely ran out of gas, and JJ didn't help matters by running the team into the ground any chance he could as far as the playoffs. In fact, providing no bench. Now, they didn't really have any bench, but at least you got to throw in some bodies from time to time. Right. To give them some kind of wind and stay close. But, you know, obviously, again, these are things that he needed to learn as a coach, and hopefully we'll go forward and have a better plan for it. But yes, having LeBron and Luka rested, and, you know, just like for you with the age over 35 crew, you know, having them rested and ready to go for the playoffs is the ultimate key, and where they will be heading into it as far as their seeding is concerned for both teams.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's how I'm kind of looking at Golden State. Which I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little concerned about that roster being so old, because I know for a fact all you guys are not gonna make it through no 82 seasons. There's no way. But how you gonna manage this when you got a Kuminga situation, which is still not pretty, that should have been handled over the summer, and then you still got Milton, who is still recovering from his injury, and it just can you make it to the postseason? I mean, hopefully, man, had to put some duct tape on some stuff, but let's hope we can make it. But I'm gonna go and say this team is not gonna win no championships. So I don't expect nothing from Golden State. Just have a good season and make the playoff and go home in the first round and call it a day. That's kind of what I expect from this Golden State Warriors team. I agree. Surprised. I'll be surprised if anything go beyond that. But I think y'all can do better than us. At least y'all got a better shot than we do.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I know that I'm going to ask you and everyone else that stops by the Lakers and our fans too, to go ahead and start with their predictions for the season here coming up in the next couple of weeks. So I'm starting to formulate exactly where I'm placing these teams out, especially in the Western Conference, very tough Western Conference, where if, like you said, with health is a key, and having these old guys on the Clippers, the Lakers, and the Warriors are going to be key. Can they stay healthy? Because if they can't, then it can really fluctuate where these teams will end up in the Western Conference. So the Golden State Warriors, now that they've got everything solidified for right now, they could be like a third or fourth place team or second place team in the Western Conference in some people's eyes. But if they get an injury to the right person, a Curry, a Butler, something like that, then it goes downhill. Same thing with the Lakers. Injury to Luka LeBron, your season's done. It's over with. And so we will have to wait and see how well these older guys, or in the case of Luka, these guys where there's a lot of volume and pressure on them to perform, how well they'll hold up during the season.
There's going to be a lot of pressure, and there's going to also be a lot of pressure on the younger guys to
have
to step up. Just let these older guys sit out some.
Tony's got a great question. We've been asking on the show. I'm sorry, my apologies for interrupting. Should we start Smart over AR, or should we trade AR? I'm going to answer your second one first. I'm going to answer the second one first and say yes. I think we should have traded him at the beginning of the offseason. I thought there were the guys that are coming up for contracts, the guys that are going to be free agents, they're the most valuable at the end of the previous season, at the beginning of the summer, and then at the trade deadline when some teams are already trying to figure out their exit plan. That's when a player like AR is the most valuable. In between, it kind of shrinks up as far as his value. But yes, I agree that I think if the Lakers are in second, third, or fourth place in the Western Conference, but they're competing at a high level and they're in contention and they look like they may find themselves, or there is a pathway to the finals, I think that trading AR should be an option, because committing so much money to a third guy or third playmaker that does similar things to LeBron and Luka, it's kind of risky to me. And plus his defense in the playoffs has always been suspect as well, outside of one really hardworking performance in that first round against Denver. But the problem is he was terrible on offense. He gave so much effort he's an undrafted player, so he doesn't have the sheer talent of a lot of the NBA players. So he has to give so much effort to one side of the ball or the other. And we've seen it mostly on the offensive end. And I'm just telling you right now, I will not commit that kind of money for him that I think he's going to be asking for in the offseason. So yes, I think we should trade AR. For the front part of your question, should we start Smart over AR? I can tell you one reason why, and I've been saying on my show, on the Lakers Fast Break continuously, and Legends heard me say this. It's one number, 54. 54 games has been the number of games of what Marcus Smart has played in the last 2 years. He has looked like a shell of himself, and in fact, he got the Defensive Player of the Year in Boston. The next year, he started to slide at Boston before he was sent packing, and it had to kill him to see the next year that the team won their world championship without him. And again, 54 games, he's only been healthy for the past 2 seasons, and he's hurt now. Right now, he's got left ankle. He's got left Achilles tendonitis right now. Yeah, so it's too risky, Tony, because it just messes things up right now if you start the season like that. I think the Lakers, if they keep the starting quo and then starting 4 and then DeAndre Ayton, I think they have a top 5 offense in the league. Again, the defense is very suspect. I would never argue with you on that. I would just say I would commit to the guys that I know that are going to be healthy out there. 15 to 20 games in, if the Lakers defense is so bad from the starting lineup and you see that you can get 20 to 25 minutes from Smart, then you make the move. But I wouldn't do it right the way, not only for the fact that I just don't know if Smart can stay out there yet. The other reason why is that, as I've told the other thing I've told Legend and my guys out there on the LFB, the other number you should look at is 7. And that's 7 players playing for a new contract, including Marcus Smart. So all these guys are motivated financially. And for 2 players in particular, in Rui Hashimura and Austin Reeves, who are facing for probably the only time, their only opportunity to get life-changing, generational, multi-year, big money contracts, it is probably in their best interest right now to at least start them with the season. Start them in the starting lineup in the season. Tell them, okay, you want that life-changing money? Go ahead, put it out, put your bodies out there on the line, prove it, execute, and get it done. Because if you can't, then I'm going to bring Marcus Smart in there and then do it from there. Because again, I know that they'll have defensive liabilities and issues, but it is probably in the best interest health-wise because I can't trust Marcus Smart staying out there right now.
Yeah, that's the number I always kind of mention too. It's that 54 mark. I can't act like that don't exist. It's hard to ignore that.
Yeah, the best ability, the old adage, is availability, and that's something that Marcus Smart hasn't been available for. And if you start him for like 2 games and then he starts to sit down, or you can't play him back-to-backs like you can't play LeBron back-to-backs, and he's part of your starting line, it just throws off the chemistry so much. And I just would advise against it, especially in a tough Western Conference right away. You reevaluate it if you're a good coach 10 to 15 games in and say, is this starting lineup going to work? And then you make changes if it isn't. But right now, I would start with what I'm most familiar with.
And truthfully, just like Gerald just said, I would have traded AR this summer, honestly. Going to move him because that's what he looking for the big money this summer. He's looking for it. He want it. I can guarantee if AR part don't start, he gonna have a problem with it because he knows it's costing the money, and I can guarantee he's gonna do what he can to get that money one way or another.
Absolutely.
He knows somebody will pay it. Or Brooklyn, don't matter. Somebody gonna pay it. Somebody gonna be willing to pay that money. He knows it. And I'm like, Jared, I wouldn't commit that much. Not that somebody do the exact same thing as Luka and LeBron can do. There's no point. And the defensive part too.
Exactly. He had another good question on who would have I trade AR for. My answer, and you know this as well, listening to me babble way too much on my show. My first choice would have been Herb Jones or Trey Murphy the third. Or second. Is he Trey Murphy second or third?
I think the second.
Second, okay. Trey Murphy from New Orleans, especially when they were that giving mood. As you and as an Atlanta fan know how giving New Orleans was during the first part of the summer. I would have instantly, like I told you, Tony, earlier, that at the beginning of the summer, I would have automatically just dialed up and said, hey, what do you want for Trey Murphy was already on extension, so probably he was unattainable. But Herb Jones had not signed an extension. I would have said, I'll trade you Austin for Herb Jones and I guess Jose Alvarado, whatever you could needed to make the money work and gone from there. But now I don't know who yet because we will not be having this conversation in a more serious fashion on AR being traded until January. I would probably say, I know December, some guys come up and become available. I would probably say mid-January, we should really start having a conversation on who would be available, because then you start to see which teams are succeeding, which teams aren't, which players are healthy, which players are not. But right now, I think it's just too early to start targeting players because nothing is for the Lakers going to be able to get after. Like for instance, Golden State, Kuminga doesn't come off the books or doesn't become available as a trade target until January 15th. So we will see what happens during the corner season. Because if I start targeting guys and they get injured, then it takes that all away. But I would have said Herb Jones. I really would have said Herb Jones before he got an extension. Kind of will always miss out on that because
I actually thought the Lakers were going to get Wiggins too. I know Wiggins been tied to the Lakers a lot.
Yeah, he's all right, but he's again. I think that Wiggins that everybody sees that was so great in the finals, that guy is set sail. I think he's okay. And you see it right now from Miami, since he went from Golden State to Miami. He's okay. The last few years when he was out there at Golden State, because he had a lot of issues on and off the court, injuries, and also personal issues. When he was on there, he was okay. Again, he does good things on both sides of the ball, but it's not spectacular. So yeah, I mean, but he's not going to be able to guard the elite and the quickness. The Lakers have an issue with being able to defend against quickness, and I don't think Wiggins is going to help you there. He can guard against threes and some fours really well, and he can hit the shot, decent shot. He's okay. He is okay. He is the definition of okay. He is a step up from what we had last year as far as a defender is concerned. So it would be good. But I don't remember. He's got 2 years, about $30 million per, and I mean you're clearly telling yourself that you're focusing on the 2027 offseason instead of what you can do this next offseason.
That's pretty much what they've been saying a lot too. Which still kind of, I'm waiting for Milwaukee to go and trade, to be honest, and be done. Just go and blow it up and be done. But I guess they want to trying to keep that Band-Aid on as long as possible. Trying their very best. But I'm Milwaukee. I was just going and get the draft picks, get as much as I can get for them, and get it over. Get the growing pain over. Yeah, we all got to go through it. But there's a lot. So there's a lot of interesting news when it comes to the Lakers. Very a lot, and it's gonna really get interesting once the season really kicks in, and we're gonna have a chance to really see what Mr. JJ looks like going into year 2. Hopefully, I think he's gonna show some growth. Sound like he don't learn a lot from his first year, just doing the press conference and all. He spoke about.
I certainly hope so.
Without, because he had moments. It was moments. But highlight of the first year got to be the play 5 dudes the whole second half. That's the highlight of the whole first year.
Well, that's again some of the reasons why I would have not offered him an extension just yet and take another year to evaluate him, because he's got he had signed a 3 or 4-year contract, I believe. So there's no really rush to go ahead and give him an extension, unless it's because of the new ownership that's coming in. And if you wanted to go ahead and take care of your bro, I guess you got to take care of your bros, right? So it's just for me. I would have waited on that, like you, Legend. But I just think that at this point in time, it's just something where there's more that there wasn't discussed on why he was given that extension. So we'll just leave it at that. So.
Yeah, I was watching for Laker Nation to see if they're gonna mention about why they did it, but I saw them never mention it. I was trying to watch them to see if they're gonna bring it up. But hopefully we'll see what's going on as the season goes on. We'll see how that plays out. Definitely, I'm about to purchase my tickets for the Hawks versus Laker game tonight. I can make sure I can get that locked in to go to it in person. But other than that, we want to shift things over to talking about the Kuminga situation. A lot of things went on when it came to Mr. Kuminga and him not being happy in Golden State, which we all know he hated her. We all know he don't want to be there. Don't blame him after all that don't happen. So, Gerald, I got to ask you for your opinion.
He still doesn't want to be there. He still doesn't want to be there.
I'm surprised he came back. Honestly. He's better than me.
22.5 million reasons why he got decided to come back.
It's a lot of money not to walk away from. I get it. But before I get my thoughts, Gerald, I'm going to start off with you. I want to ask you, what's your thought about that whole situation?
Well, it was very ugly. And it's something that I think Golden State should have addressed. If you don't think he's the ideal fit, and this is something that you've seen now for 4 years now, you should have just traded him. You should have moved him when you had your opportunity to do so. Now you've got yourself an ugly situation that still casts its shadow over your organization until January 15th, when he becomes eligible for trade. So I think it's something like Steve Kerr doesn't like to play him in a lot of situations. That's not going to change. So just because he's making a lot more money does not mean anything to a guy like Steve Kerr. So, I mean, they'll try to find places for him, but he just has a game that doesn't really fit well with what Golden State wants to do. And it's for the life of me, I just don't understand why Golden State didn't take more of an opportunity to trade him much earlier and much sooner, because they might get, as you would say, or I would say, or Joe would say, or anyone out there would say, as far as on the LFB, pennies on the dollar, because that's what I'm worried for your team that they will get come January 15th. Now, it equates to that you may be able to get a better or a more expensive individual, not always better, but you can get someone that has a contract in the 20s, 30s. If you bundle them with, say, Moody or someone else that you could go ahead forward, it makes it a little bit more attractive with this 22 plus whatever you want to add on to it. But still, I just think you could have gotten a lot more, and for what you were looking for much earlier with him, when you knew it wasn't going to work. And it seems like Steve Kerr is going to be stubborn and set in his ways on how he evaluates and how he gives time to Jonathan Kuminga. Jonathan Kuminga is set in his ways and believes he is a player already that is already taken the next step, not ready to take the next step. He believes he's already taken the next step and can play at a very high level. And the front office feels an even different way about how this is all being handled. So you've got all these three differing opinions, and you've seen what it's translated to. And Jonathan Kuminga, I mean, again, how he will be utilized this season by your team is going to be very interesting. I will be very keen to see how that works out, and how for every 10-minute or 5-minute or 12-minute performance that he's given, when he feels like he should be playing 25 or 30, we'll see what happens with Kuminga and how he feels about it, because he'll get like 25 when he replaces Butler, who will be sitting out, or he'll be sitting out, or Curry will sit out, or one of the old guys will sit out, and he'll get like 25. But then the next day or next game, when Curry or Butler come back, what happens when he gets a DNP or a 10-minute 5-point game as well? What happens on those days to him and his psyche going forward? So we'll see how that works out, because again, that's what it's been like for 4 years. They've been using him like a yo-yo back and forth on stringing him along. And at some point in time, you just got to be fair to the kid and say, you know what? You're not in our long-term plans. You're not in our short-term plans the way we want you. You're not in our long-term plans the way you want us to think you are. Just go ahead and let's go ahead and make the best of it for now, and let's just try to go ahead and work out something where we put you on another team that you can have what you feel may be a better opportunity. It may not be a better opportunity, but what hopefully he will have is an opportunity to succeed.
That's what I've been saying they should have did for the longest. I love Golden State, but front office to me has been a mess, and ever since. And I miss him every day. Bob Myers' love has just been, just crashing. And this should have been handled so much better. The fact that it drug on the entire summer by everybody making moves, and you just hear crickets in Golden State, that was a problem to me. And I feel for the kid. He should have been traded by now. He doesn't want to be there. You guys don't want him. There's no point in keep forcing something to be there that's not there. It's obvious. I guarantee opening night when we play the Lakers, that man is not going to get that much playing time. I already know it. It's not going to happen. There's no point of dragging this along just to keep dragging. It's toxic for the locker room. It's bad for the chemistry. It should have just been cleared up and been done. To me, Sacramento gave an all right offer to me when we heard what it was over the summer. I would have took that and been like,
the Malik Monk trade?
Yep, I would have took it. Just
Malik Monk, I think Malik Monk and the number one was the offer.
I think so. I think that was they wanted number one, but I know that situation would have been good for him. You can play the way you want to play with her, because it ain't like they're trying to win no championship, so you ain't got to worry about that pressure being on you. You just go out there and play ball, and you got to do something though. You can't just keep dragging this on and on. To me, I think the problem with Golden State as well is I feel like you're trying to get an offer for a player that you don't have. You're trying to get an all-star package, and you're not going to get that for me. So I feel like you're asking for probably more than what he's truly worth, but at the same time, he probably think he's worth more than what he truly is at the moment too. So I did feel like both sides are kind of just not on the same page. One person think you're better than the other, while the other person doesn't think you as good as you think you are. And it's just back and forth. It's toxic. This should have been cleaned up a long time ago. And to me, I feel like it affected how their off season played out. I feel like it showed we really didn't. You're old in state now, and I feel like you don't have no choice but to be that because you wasted so much time off of this situation. All the best pieces, they gone. I mean, you gotta take what's left. What you gonna do? Go sign Russell Westbrook? I mean, he gonna really help us too much. But I mean, this was just sad that this is how it turned out. And as a Warrior fan, I'm very disappointed that this is how we're gonna waste Steph Curry final few years left. This is what we're gonna do. You just go and have a decent season and go bye-bye in the first round and call it a day. What's probably gonna happen. Unless, God forbid, they get lucky and something goes right and you somehow sneak your way to the finals, which I'm going to say I think you lose that too. But it's just unfortunate. I mean, this front office has been a joke to me. I feel like Bob Meyer left at the right time. I think he saw the right on the wall, honestly. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like he may have saw what things were headed with this team. And maybe he didn't want to be the one to break it up. But I think he knew it was over. It was a wrap after 22. It was a wrap. So it's just disappointment on this franchise. This is what we at. But hey, at least Steph Curry get to play with his brother. Hey,
maybe, because his deal's not a full deal yet. He may be waived before the end of the training camp and brought back. It's because of the Kuminga deal, what he signed for. They're limited on what they could do for him. So I believe it's not a regular contract as of yet. So,
gotcha. Well, Kuminga, I'm gonna be cheering for you. Hope you get to be free by January and be where you really want to be at. Because I know what it's like to be in a place you don't want to be at. It's miserable. It sucks. Like, I can make all the money in the world, but if I ain't happy, it's just the money can't replace my happiness. So hopefully he'll be free to go be where he wants to be at and find a good team that can give you at least a pretty decent trade-off for him wise and finally move on from this situation. But other than that, hey, it's the front office's fault. They dug their own hole in this one. Steve Kerr got his own problem too. You're hoping you're gonna get an extension. I don't know if that's gonna happen now. I don't know. But the way things been the last couple of years, I mean, I can't blame if they don't want to.
Well, I don't even know if he wants it himself. So again, that's a very mysterious situation. How you let that coach, because there's still 2 years left for Curry on his contract. So I don't understand why you don't pair them all together. I guess Draymond and Curry are lined up, but why Kerr isn't lined up with them is kind of a mystery to me.
I thought the same thing too. I thought it was a little odd that he's not phasing out at the same time as them. So I don't know what's going on in Golden State, but something going on behind the scenes that just ain't out there yet. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out in the long run. I think it's gonna be an interesting season, and hopefully it won't be too toxic with Kuminga going on. But I get the feeling we are gonna hear a lot of that throughout the rest of the season until it happens. But going into the next topic, we won't be on this one for too long. But Gerald, I just want to ask you just this opinion wise, what do you think will be the path for the finals for the Hawks? What do you think has to go right for the Atlanta Hawks to make the finals?
That's a good question. I think they all have to gel and gel quickly. Jalen Johnson has to stay on the floor for 75 to 80 games. I think that you guys have to find a defensive rhythm that works around Trae Young. I think Porzingis has to stay healthy himself for 60 to 65 games heading into the playoffs. There is a pathway if that's the case, because then if that's the case, all those things happen. You guys are at least a number 3 seed, in my opinion. And if Cleveland doesn't stay healthy, and if the Knicks don't mesh under Mike Brown, then that's going to be an issue. That's going to be a problem. So we'll see what happens. But I think that for you guys to find your way to the finals, I think it's going to take an injury for Cleveland, and it's going to take New York just maybe losing something with the coaching change that maybe Mike Brown doesn't have, that maybe Tom Thibodeau had in order to get them to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I think that's probably what's going to be the case, because they're trying a new offense with Mike Brown. They've got a little bit better pieces now. I think New York really of the Eastern Conference teams looks like the best overall team. If Brunson gets hurt, that makes it also easier for you guys as well. So we'll see. But Atlanta, it has to all go right and stay healthy. Has to click offensively because defensively, I think they're going to be pretty good. But as long as you find a way to make sure you hide Trae Young during the playoffs, as far as on the defensive end, if you can continually do that well, then you can find a pathway to the finals.
It's pretty much the same thing I was going to say too. I think the path to the finals, pretty a lot of what you said, Gerald, is going to probably end up taking something in happening in Cleveland, like an injury, something to slow them down. Things not clicking that fast in New York with the new coaching hire with Mike Brown, and then taking advantage of Boston being out, Indiana being out, Milwaukee's being a mess, taking advantage of that. Also going to bank on hoping that Orlando don't end up growing into something during this time period. And then we just got to jail right on our offense. Defense is going to beat her. Offense got to beat her. So hoping that's going to end up happening. That's going to be our only way to get to the finals is taking advantage of a lot of the injuries that don't happen and taking advantage of whether or not New York is going to become something with Mike Brown or it's going to take a minute for it to come together. But I definitely don't expect much from Milwaukee. I think Giannis knows it's over.
No, and Orlando, I think, again, they have to find a consistent offense, and will Desmond Bane be that ticket to finding a consistent offense? I want to see how that works out as well. They're the other oddball team like Atlanta that possibly, if everything goes right, could find themselves in the finals as well. I mean, it's the same scenario as what we see with Atlanta. They're a terrible shooting team outside of Bane. So does Bane lift them up as an entire team shooting wise to where they're efficient enough offensively to coincide with their great defensive skills? And if that's the case and they get just enough offense, that can carry them to a finals run if there's an injury or two for the other teams along the way. But that's a big if because they've been pretty bad offensively in the playoffs the couple seasons that they've been in.
Yeah, you're right about that. It's been pretty bad, and it's been pretty rough for them as well. And I can definitely say, things happen. It happened, and who knows? I could definitely say this is Cleveland definitely their best chance to get to the final. This is Cleveland's chance to do it. If there was
but
ever
they're starting off the season though with a little health issues, though. That's the concern that I think you should have in Cleveland.
You're right about that. Cleveland got their own issues, but we'll see how that plays out in the long run, and we'll definitely see how this. Strange things happen all the time.
What do you think about with Cleveland? They obviously have the great quartet of players there when they're all on. We've seen them before not play so well. Then last season we saw them play extremely well during the regular season. Do you think that's something that's going to continue through a finals run?
I'm thinking they would have gone through some growing pain last year. I'm thinking maybe last year was that big growing pain that they needed to experience. Losing a series that they probably should have won should have been a good growing pain for them, and hopefully this will be the year where they may get beyond that. I would definitely say this is Cleveland's best chance to get to the finals. This season. You don't have Boston in the way. You got a New York team that's starting over with a new coach. They got to adjust to that. You got Orlando still figuring their stuff out. Hawks got a bunch of new people, so they got to figure it out as well. Milwaukee's a mess. This is it. This is it. It can't get no better than this situation.
I think you hit it right on the head. That's a very astute point, my friend. You are right. This is their time is now. And when the Knicks and the Hawks and the Orlando Magic all have flaws, but those are the top teams you're battling against. This is Cleveland's time to shine. But again, staying healthy is a key for them as well.
Yep, got to hold Donovan Mitchell. Them can hold it on together. You got a better chance than the Oklahoma City Thunder do over going through that gauntlet of the West, because like they always say about the Western Conference, you lose 2 or 3 games in a row, you drop like a rock. That's all it takes. But we're gonna get ready to wrap this show up, guys. Though, what a heck of a conversation me and Gerald had today. Gerald, thank you so much for coming, man. I appreciate it.
But I owe you a big long conversation on college football. I owe you that. So I have an IOU to you for that, because I'd love to go ahead and chat with you about that. What about the playoffs or Major League Baseball playoffs? Anything you want, man. Even the Aces, our Aces here are up 2-0 in the WNBA. Yep.
Hey, we could definitely set up another podcast and we'll just do this straight college football. We can talk all on it.
You've been so gracious on my channel, my friend. Man, anytime you need it, I'll be trying to be there for you, my friend. So
that sounds like a plan, because I got a lot to say about college football, and Georgia is just I already knew they were gonna lose to Alabama. I knew they were gonna lose to Alabama. They can't beat them for some reason. I don't know. They just can't.
They're still in the playoffs, though. I mean, they're still in the playoffs. Look at that. USC loses out to a team that was top 10 at one for most of the season this season. They lose to a top 10 team on the road by 2 points on a final second field goal, and they can't even crack the top 25. So, yeah, at least your team that you follow, Georgia, is doing better than my team that I follow, USC. So,
yeah, I'm surprised USC failed. I was surprised at it. I'm really surprised not.
They never do good morning games. USC and morning games, it's like the Lakers in Toronto at Saturday morning at 9 when they usually put them there. Yeah, they don't win. Those are not good gods. Doesn't matter. They just don't win. They're just certain teams or just certain times of the day or certain period. Like UNLV yesterday. I thought UNLV was sure going to lose against Wyoming because it was a 9 a.m. start time. But yeah, it just, they got lucky. But yeah, USC, they were lucky to be that close, and it just wasn't meant to be. But that, again, if they go on, they continue to win. If they win throughout, they're right there in the playoffs. But Georgia's right there. So, I mean, in 10th place, they're still very much in the thick of it. So I wouldn't definitely count them out. But right now, Miami, Ohio State, Oregon, they're really separating themselves out of the pack. Texas has probably got to be the most disappointing team in the country right now. I know Penn State, a lot of people are after them because they lost to UCLA. But I think right now, your preseason number one, who is not even the top 25 right now, yeah, they're probably, although it's close with Penn State, it's close, but I'd give them my most disappointing. And Manning, that Manning kid, he's exceedingly average. He's been exceedingly average this season, which exactly Texas didn't need.
Yeah, he's been a big disappointment. All I heard was number 1 draft pick. I heard it all before the season started, and he ain't been nowhere near that. It's been a complete disaster. But hey, stuff happens. I didn't expect Clemson to be as bad as they've been this year. North Carolina has been embarrassing what's going on with them too. But the Bill experience in North Carolina has been a straight disaster. But hey, hey Bill, she's still coaching football, so
That's true.
But Gerald, once again, I appreciate it, man. We will definitely set up a time to talk football more deeply. And thank you so much for coming. And
big shout out to Tony.
And shout out to Tony. Tony is a good friend of mine. Been a part of my channel on my other channel for many, many years. So shout out to Tony, big Lakers fan. Tony, make sure you go to the arena. Check out your boys in person, man. Go to Crypto this year. Grab them tickets. But other than that, guys, if check out Gerald's channel, Laker Fast Break. If you are a Laker fan, that is where you need to be at. That's where you can get all the Lakers' latest news. You get to have a chance to hear the legendary Joe Soro rants. You get to hear everything, Magic Man, everything. It's a good channel, man. It's a good community.
I wouldn't call them legendary. I have another word for it, but I want to be very nice on your show. So I want to be very cordial. So I will leave my thoughts to myself.
Definitely check out Laker Fast Break if you're a Laker fan, though, man. It's a good channel, good community, great people. You'll enjoy it. It's all good vibes. Check them out. But other than that, guys, we're going to get ready to end this stream. Everybody have a great night. NBA season is finally back. Enjoy college football. Enjoy NFL tonight. And we'll see you guys on the next podcast. Have a great night, everybody.